Welcome back. It is Friday and we are back, or I am back.
Oh,
In a
Jill is
long time. Welcome to
yay.
Humor, Grace, and Grief and the Friday Grief Chat. I'm
Oh
Jill.
my gosh.
That's Deb.
Jill, I'm Deb.
We're
And
back.
I am so happy Jill is back.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad to be back and be on terra firma.
Oh, you really think this is firm ground?
Well,
Really?
no, we've had an earthquake every day, but it's way more firm ground than Hurricane Beryl on a cruise ship.
Uh-huh. How was that? Did they shut the doors and tie down all the
It
chairs?
wasn't that bad. Beryl was a tropical storm when we ran into him or her coming
Uh-huh.
down the coast, but it was enough to, rock and roll side to side, front to back, and to be foggy. We were encapsulated in fog.
Oh, I saw a
That
photo.
picture,
I don't know where it was from, but I saw that, Jill, where you had a beautiful boat
yes,
picture. Yes, that
in
was
the
gorgeous.
fog. Yeah,
In the
we docked outside of Bar Harbor, and we had to dock in a weird place because they couldn't see the rocks in the water.
right,
And then all the way to Bar Harbor, the horn went off every 5 minutes, and all the way from Bar Harbor almost back to Boston every
right.
5 minutes all night. And
Oh,
every time another boat went honk honk, the staff went running to the edge of the boat and they're peering out. And I'm like, this is like Titanic. Don't we have sonar now? Or radar or something?
oh my gosh. My heart goes out to you when your sleep is disrupted with horns, because Daryl and I have been in that situation. And I do want to say, on one of our cruises, we were at the tail end of the hurricane,
Oh,
and we didn't know that. And every morning we would get up and um,
the deck.
walk the deck. And
Mhm.
so I'm like, hold on to me. And it was like, you're flying like this.
Mhm.
And then when we went in, and I'm trying to do Pilates at that point, you know, try sitting still on a ball. And the whole day and the night, we were in this hurricane because we were traveling across the Atlantic. Like, yeah.
Right.
So, anyway, the
I've been
bottom
on one
line
of those
is,
cruises and I don't enjoy them. We had some of this and some of this and we
oh,
had a
yeah,
high wind. But other than that, nothing.
yeah. And this one man, when I woke up from, no, I didn't go side to side at night. I went in the bed like from head to toe. It was the weirdest feeling, right? And so I woke up late and I took some Dramamine. And this one man asked me so sweetly, he goes, my sister's a nurse, and he was from another country, and he says, she's not here for me to ask, but why do they wear those patches over here? Those patches, is that a cult? And I know, I giggled inside. I didn't try,
The
and I thought,
seasickness cult, and I'm a member.
yes, yeah. And I said, no, those are seasick patches. And he goes, but the captain is wearing one. And I said, they may be good at driving, but not so great in a hurricane. So, anyway, so I'm glad you're back. I'm glad, it takes a while to get your uh, land legs
Your
back.
bearings, your land legs, and I wore patches for 2 solid weeks. So it's taken a little while to leach all of that out of my brain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But it
So
was it was beautiful. The water there is a color like I've never seen.
that's right. That's right.
And it was warm. It was unseasonably warm and
Hmm.
unseasonably humid. So we were very fortunate. We were docked for 3 days in Bermuda so we could go out for a bit and then go back and cool off.
Got
Cool
it.
off for a
Oh,
bit. go back and cool off. And it is very cool to walk around a town called Hamilton with with Hamiltons in your wallet.
Yes.
With a picture of that Hamilton.
And singing the songs from the musical.
Songs, walking the places that he walked, seeing the places that he was, right? That was incredibly cool. And we had a Coast Guard clipper ship tied up at Hamilton while we were there. The United States Coast Guard clipper ship, which just added to like the mystique. Now, on the other side of Hamilton, there were like 72,000 huge yachts. These yachts were the size of what cruise ships used to be.
Yeah.
And the folks said, yeah, the Saudis already left. The biggest ones are gone. I'm like, those are the size of skyscrapers on their sides.
Yes.
They're huge.
Yes.
But it was fun. People there commute by ferry.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is friendly. Mm-hmm. And it felt incredibly safe. I mean, I'm not stupid. Every country has their issues, but
right.
It was just an incredible place to be. And to think that someone found that rock in the middle of the Atlantic by accident.
Right. Wow.
And they keep finding it. And it's populated and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And I found my spirit animal.
What's your spirit animal?
A bird called a longtail. It's all white with a little bit of black. It looks like a small seagull. It's got this beautiful long white tail. They never land. Half their brain goes to sleep and the other half stays awake and they keep flying. And they put the other half of their brain to sleep and the other half wakes up and they keep flying. They land to lay eggs and they pick up food while they're flying and they literally sleep and fly.
One, that sounds very tiring to me right now.
They're very energetic little creatures.
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope you post a picture of it.
Yeah, I will. They're gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to see one. Mm-hmm. Well, since you've been gone and showed up today, we have had a lot of celebrity deaths that have meant a lot to people. Oh my gosh, her last name is Reardon. From Sweet Honey in the Rock, and I would see them all the time. I have several. Oh,
that's right. He said happy birthday first.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, everybody. And Jill was a complete failure and did not acknowledge it, but she will.
That's fine. Anyway, so Sweet Honey in the Rock would come to the University of Illinois all the time, and she was an activist, and I'm just like, oh,
we need her this year.
What?
We need her this year.
We needed her. Play the music. Play it loud and proud.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to acknowledge Bob Newhart died.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And besides the TV shows he was on, you know, he just had a wry sense of humor.
He did.
And I loved it.
And therapists worldwide played Stop It, Stop It, Stop It yesterday.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And
I want to acknowledge Richard Simmons because he was actually the very first who went out there and said, you can be who you are and look how you are. You need to be healthy, but you don't need to change all of it. Stop it. And look what I did to myself trying to do it. Don't wreck yourself.
You know, he was literally addicted to Oreos.
Yep.
He said that. One of the best things about Richard Simmons that I want to acknowledge is it didn't matter your sexuality. It didn't matter the size of your body. You're all beautiful people. And
you can all move and dance and smile and have fun.
And just do the best you can.
Right.
I loved it. Dancing to the Oldies.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh yeah. You know, no offense, Jane Fonda. I liked Richard Simmons better.
Right. And no leg warmers.
He may have had them, but he was a hoot.
Practical shorts.
Practical shorts. That's right. 80s with the little slit up the side, right?
Right?
Oh
Mhm.
my God. And that great fro hair. I just loved him. Another person that died. Oh my gosh. It was Richard Simmons, Shannon Doherty
Right?
from
Only 52 years
90210.
old.
Yeah. Breast cancer from 2015. And you just sort of look at, she's young, 9 years since she died. And the other one, oh my gosh, it's another comedian that died. Richard Simmons and Steve, help me out here. Who was the other one that died that weekend? This past weekend. Richard Simmons and Dr. Ruth. Both of them out and proud. Out as, let's talk about, or let me do a Ruth Westheimer. Then we're going to talk about sex now. Right? You can say the word dildo, and she would talk about, Dr. Ruth was great. She's a Holocaust survivor, and she joined the Israeli army and was a sniper. You want to talk about all these, like,
All the parts of
combinations,
her. Mhm.
all the parts. And it's like her and Richard Simmons, more than anybody else of this past weekend that had died, gave us permission to say things out loud, to be the body size we are out loud, to be the sexuality that we are out loud. And they were like pioneers that way.
And to talk about things that weren't talked about. I mean, Shannon Doherty openly talked about preparing for her death, talked
That's
about saying
right.
goodbye to
Thank
her
you.
mom, talked about all the things pertaining to being young and dying. And she said the words.
Yeah, she did. And those are the things that I went to last Monday, last minute, I filled in as the officiant for a funeral, a memorial. And as I was listening to other people speak, it's true. You live on in the hearts of all. And, whether you believe in future lives and past lives, the lives remembered in your heart are what is most important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just want to say, maybe because I I turned 68, and I was sort of given a death sentence a long time ago. And many of our viewers probably already know this. The short version is I have two cavernous malformations in my head, and the doctor leaned forward. One of my neuro people leaned forward, said, "Well, you're gonna die from this, and this is how you're gonna die." And I mean, like I said, I went home, had my moments, and said, life is too short for me to even worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I'm saying that is someone asked me, I went to an appointment. They said, "Oh, it's your birthday tomorrow. What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm planning on waking up and having coffee." And I said, "But the day is still young. Who knows?" And I really feel like that because so many of my contemporary age people are in the hospital or having other things happen. And I'm like, oh my goodness, yay, I get another day.
You
So
get lots more days, and you make the most of each and every one of them.
I know I personally do.
Yes, you do.
And I just
And you remind the rest of us to do it too.
darn tootin'.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's exactly right. And
And
I
you keep going at trying to turn around the things that have gone wrong
I
within
do.
reason.
I wrote to somebody last night, or maybe 10 minutes after 12, and I I thanked them for last year's birthday gift, because last year's birthday gift were two, I'll call them affirmations. What they said isn't important, but I teared up knowing how hard some things were last year, as they've been for a few years. And I I thought sometimes I would just look at these affirmations and go, I do matter. And I think the hardest thing in loss is when you lose yourself, for as long as that is. You lose your identity because you identify being with your mom, your dad. Losing your kids has lost all those years, because you're like, who am I without them? And then when you find yourself without them, or you find part of yourself without them, because you don't always find your whole self. Or so when you find that, such as like in a divorce, or whatever, you or a job, you identify with that job, you identify with your life skills. This is who I am. No, this is what you do. And that is so hard when you can't see that reflection anymore. And so when I saw those two affirmations, it reminded me who I really am, not what I do.
Right.
And I can only wish that whatever loss our listening audience has been through or going through, you still are, even though you're not seeing that reflection back to you of what you did. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yep. There you go, Jill. That's my story for today,
That's the full summary of life as it should be,
as it needs to be.
and
Yeah.
how to get through things.
Yeah.
There's been a lot for a lot of people this week, and will continue to be, as much
Yeah,
as we don't want to think about it.
exactly. And people don't want to talk about it. I mean,
Mhm.
thank you, Dr. Ruth. Thank you, Richard Simmons. Thank you, Shannon Doherty. Who else? I mean, it's to talk about
James Taking died of dementia. Hill
oh my
Street
God.
Blues.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. You know, another thing, because um, I can't speak for half the country, but the half that is feeling really lost right now. Stephen Colbert came on. My girlfriend and I were talking about this morning. Stephen Colbert came on TV, and he's like, feeling totally lost, and identifying with half the country. And he had a bubble gun, and he was like, what are you gonna do? And he
Right.
saw the whimsy in the moment, because if you can still what you might not reflect on it right then and there, or you might, depending on how your brain works. um I don't The only thing I remember that was really funny when my mom was dying is her friends might come to the room and they go, Shirley, my mom's name, is sitting in the chair. She wasn't. It was me. But because I have the same facial structure as my mom, they're like, oh my God. For a minute, I thought that was Shirley. And it was me, right? I have the personality of my dad a lot, but I also have some personality of my mom. And that strength I got from my mom.
Yes, you did.
I did. I totally did. So I'm saying, if you can find just a moment, if for some reason you get a moment of humor, a grace of humor or whimsy while you're in that process, that just sets everything just in a little different light. It just shifts it. Might just be a teeny bit, but it shifts it. So,
And it gives you a way to look at things and to bring in the good,
mhm,
even
mhm.
in the hard.
Yeah, yeah. And
That's been a bump for me coming back from, oh my gosh, all the beautiful blue water to every day filled with clients who are in either
pain.
crisis or pain or coping with stuff and stuff they never expected. Um, Lots of dementia for young people this week. And
Is
that's
F
always,
F
that's
friend
always hard. And
Frontier?
yeah, believe it or not, people who are the people in the chair listening are impacted by what's happening to the people coming to them.
We are.
We totally are impacted. And to see someone um, who is coping with stuff that they shouldn't ever have to, and nobody should have to, is and trying to help them find ways to cope when you know that if it were you, you'd like to run screaming from the room, right?
Right. Right.
He's coping by wearing his whimsy tie this evening. He's leading up a service at Temple tonight.
Who is Steve? I have
Steve,
to
yeah,
turn on my comments there.
he's got his rainbow pride challah baked already.
Oh, thank you, Steve, for being the whimsy that people need.
They do. They need to break up the stuff and give us the space to find joy and find happy and to connect. Right?
Yes. Once again, my I want to talk a little bit about dementia. That I went walking with a doctor friend of mine, and she was still in work mode processing, and she had two patients that day that were just beside themselves because their partner had dementia, beginning Alzheimer's, whatever. And she said, do you have any insights in it? And I said, one of the hardest things and just one of the hardest things is you don't know how long you're going to have to take care of your spouse. So part of you feels bad,
Mm-hmm.
and you go, why aren't they dead yet? Better to be dead than doing this, right?
Right.
This is, everybody thinks this at one time or another.
So hard. I'm so tired.
I'm so tired.
And then people look at you and say, I don't know how you keep doing it.
Yeah, well, you do it because you have to, so just
Is there a choice somewhere?
Yeah, yeah. And then the other part that I heard so many times is, when do I, not just when are they going to die, but when do I bring them someplace else? I told them I would take care of them, for better, for worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said a couple things to her, as I said, I'm coming from what is my bottom line and how I have explained that to my clients when I was in home care.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say to the spouse or the partner, here's when I will not take care of them in the house. I won't come anymore. When they lose bodily functions and paint with that on the wall, that's number one, because
Yep.
that means
Body
they
moments.
lost
Mm-hmm.
those social boundary lines. And
Right.
two,
And they don't even understand bodily functions anymore.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the times. The other one is when they get physically or sexually assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
It is no longer safe. I'm not saying it's safe to take verbal assault, but I am saying you sort of push the envelope because you say they don't know what they're saying. But
Right.
when they hit you or sexually assault you, which they will, they don't know what they're doing. It's worse when they figure out how to walk out of the house.
Yeah. You have to learn and that's where having a support system where you can learn to stay one step ahead.
Yes.
And watching Tipa Snow videos, who talks about how to manage all the bathroom stuff. But there's
Mhm.
just there's a point where you have to say this is just not okay.
It's not okay for
And there's
one.
the hardest part of it is that sense of helplessness, which is something that the person developing dementia feels way before.
Yes.
And then the partner joins them along the way and takes it as the person with dementia generally is no longer understanding, depending on the kind of dementia.
Right.
Very
Right.
difficult disease.
It it's hard. So I said, letting your patient know that there are some bottom lines
Mm-hmm.
that they can count on and be part of. So
Read
that
the
they,
36-hour day. It will help you understand.
yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. Mm. Yeah, aren't we just a ball of
A barrel of laughs today. Can you tell? You come back from turquoise water and not having a whole lot of responsibilities, although I did teach a class while I was in Bermuda. It's
right?
still you're back in and all of the stuff is here. And then for all of us, boom, one more thing on the TV. Although today with everything going down worldwide thanks to a computer glitch,
Oh,
maybe
I
not.
know nothing about that, but
Oh
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. There's a big computer glitch and like whole airlines are not flying today and banks are down and
Oh,
very exciting. If you're trying to travel today, call ahead. You may not be traveling.
oh,
You may have some loss there, right?
wow. Just, yeah, I
For
had
your
no
birthday,
idea.
Deb, we turned off the internet.
You know, but they haven't turned off my birthday wishes. So
They
I'm
can't.
just, no, no, I'm still getting those.
You are indeed my friend. What are you doing the rest of your day?
So the rest of well, I prepared ahead. I went to a gluten-free bakery and got all my essentials, including I had half for breakfast today and half tomorrow. So that's really cool, of a giant crescent roll that has bacon and some cheese in it. Oh God, yes, Jill. Delicious.
Fill my heart.
I know, I know. And then after this, I actually, my clients are okay, so I put my Friday clients off for a couple weeks. And then I haven't done it in a long time. I've only done it with the grandkids. I'm going with a good friend and we're going to the pottery place, so they have pieces already there. We're going to paint them and fire them.
Oh, I'm so glad you get to do that. That's
I know.
awesome.
I know. And then it was our neighbor's birthday last Friday. So we're, as couples, we're going to go out, the two of
Fun.
us, and celebrate birthdays. I mean,
I'm
it's
so
just
glad.
great. And then tomorrow last week I gave at church, I talked about anger and spirituality. And so that was pretty cool. And I'm going to get interviewed about that for another Facebook thing. And then
Excellent.
Sunday we
Are
go
you
to
going to post it so we can watch it?
Yes, it'll be on my Facebook page. I will repost it for sure. And I won't be here next week.
And I will.
Yay. Aren't Jill and I doing good self-care? We're following our own advice and taking time off. Yes.
And Deb's going to go do something wonderful.
I am. I'm going to be in Wisconsin all week. First half visiting my brother, the second half visiting friends from they live in Appleton, Wisconsin, and then my Canadian friends are going to meet us there. And then they'll spend the week at our house once they travel south here.
I was telling people at our homeless program last night about your brother's furry cows.
I know. Are they not great?
We were drawing cows with the kids, and I was like, that looks like the ones from Deb's brother's farm.
Exactly.
And they said, are they fun? And I said, no. She said, they're jerks, but they're really cute jerks.
They are, they are called Scottish Highlander cows, and you might have seen them. They almost look I hope our listening audience knows what an Afghan dog looks like, with real hairy, and it's real hairy here, and it's that. Think of that in cow form with big horns, and it's an Afghan dog in cow form.
And they're cute, but apparently they're not very nice.
Sometimes they're nice, sometimes they're not. My brother had two dwarf cows like that, and he did sell them. Now they have tons of goats too. And yeah, and this is how goats go. And I know we're a little bit over. I love how goats go like this. They say my name, Deb. Deb. Or they can say this name, Dave, Dave. And the last name they say, Diane, Diane. So if you got those three names.
They never say Jill.
No, I've never heard a goat go, Jill.
No, that's not even in the language.
No, it's not.
I hope you have a lovely time in Wisconsin. I hope the Canadians will join us when you come back. And I hope you have a marvelous, magical day, my friend.
Thank you. It's been a marvelous, magical month for my birthday.
It should be. All right. I will see you in 2 weeks. I will see all of you back next week. And let's all wish Deb a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy end of her birthday month and a beautiful trip to Wisconsin.
Thank you. Bye everyone.